yet. You've got to stay for supper. That's all there is to it.
What kind of pie?
Do you know you're beautiful?
You are.
But you mustn't be too serious.
I won't be. I won't be.
Ready?
No, we'll jump.
Like hell we will.
No, it'll be okay. If the water's deep enough, we don't get squished to death. They'll never follow us.
How do you know?
Would you make a jump like that and you didn't have to?
I have to, and I'm not gonna.
Well, we got to, otherwise we're dead.
Oh, shit!
Somebody big just died. Legendary actor and director Robert Redford is dead at 89 years old. And here to help eulogize him is my friend Mike North. Mike, how are you, my friend?
Good. I got a haircut. It's a little uneven. Combed it before I came down.
Good.
That's all right. What am I going to tell you? But you know what, Joe? Robert Redford didn't need a haircut. Robert Redford was Robert Redford. He was a movie star,
Right.
period. He was a movie star. And I want to show a little bit, a segment that we have of Distinct, but I want to set it up first. And then we'll get into his career and stuff. But I was home from the Army back in 74. I had 3 months to go. And I walked into a Jewel food store where my buddy worked, Jimmy DiGiulio. And he was working produce. I walked in the back and, you know, I was talking to him. Then I looked and I saw this girl checking at the other end of the store. I said, "Who the hell's that?" He goes, "Hey, she's a nice girl, Mike. Leave her alone. Her name's BB, blah, blah, blah." I go, "So what? I'm a nice guy. Let me talk to her." He goes, "Okay, I'll go up and bag." And he had never bagged it for anybody. He's a produce guy. So he comes up, bags for BB. He introduces, "This is my buddy Mike. He's in from the Army." "Oh, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah." She's checking people out. And I had a Three Musketeer bar in my hand. That's all I was going to buy. And I started talking to her a little bit. And I told her, I said, "Hey, you know, I only got 3 days. I got to go back. I might end up in Vietnam. Who knows?" Well, I wasn't going to Vietnam. My orders had been canceled. I had been in Kansas for about a year and a half, but I had to dress it up a little bit. I said, "You never know." And she said,
Right.
"No, thanks." She says, "You know what?" She goes, "No, thanks." You know, stuff like that. Then I came back the next day. I found out where she lived, and I actually stalked her. I didn't stalk her as far as following her. I found out where she lived, and she lived on the north side, not far from Loyola on Arthur. And I went to her house and I rang the doorbell. And I said, "Listen, I got a couple more days. I wasted a day. Let's go on one date and see what happens." She goes, "Well, I'm washing my hair right now." I go, "That's all right. I can come back in an hour or what have you." And I talked her into going out. And we went to see The Sting at the Devon Theater, which was on which was on Broadway by Granville. And after that, we went to eat at a place called Hennessy's, which was at the Sovereign Hotel. And then we went to have a couple cocktails at a place called Gadzooks. They're all gone now. Well, the Sovereign's still there, but Hennessy's is gone. But if I had to pick a movie where there was conversation afterwards, I picked the right one. because, we're dating for the first time. So now we're at dinner and we're talking about how fabulous this movie is. Well, to put it short, whenever I call B now, the Sting's music has been on her phone for like da na 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 da na 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 na. That song is on her phone. It's been on her phone since we had phones. We didn't have phones back then. We had no phone, nothing. You had to go by word of mouth. So we went to see the Sting, went on a date, and the rest is history. We've been together for so long, but we've always had a special place in our heart. And whenever the Sting's on, we watch it. It's a special thing for us. So when both of us heard Robert Redford passed away, it was sort of weird. It really was, because we've loved the guy ever since. And that's where he finally got his acting chops. And I'll explain why. But let's take a look at the Sting in the trailer we have. Joe Wood did a good job with this.
Chicago was the place to be in 1936. In those days, the big con was a dying art, until a first-class grifter on the lam from the FBI and a young gaffer from Joliet joined forces to con the Big Mick.
He's not as tough as he thinks. Neither are we.
Paul Newman is Henry Gondorf. There wasn't a con he couldn't run, and there wasn't a sucker he couldn't gaff. Robert Redford is Johnny Hooker, a young grifter with plenty of moxie.
$3 grand on the red, Jimmy.
But he's a sucker for Lady Luck.
Tough luck, kid.
And a sap for Lady Love.
Thanks for the big evening, Hooker. Next time you want to spend $50 on me, mail it.
Paul Newman and Robert Redford. This time, they might get away with it.
Wow. And now what's great about it is I had never seen Barefoot in the Park, which was one of his first movies with Jane Fonda. He also made a couple more, Electric Horseman with her in 1979. He also made a Netflix movie with her like years later, 2015. Okay. So wow. They did 3 movies together from like 64 all the way to 2015. But jeez. Robert Redford only was nominated once as an actor. He won an Oscar for Ordinary People. A River Runs Through It. He was great as a director. I mean, he made his bones near the end as a director. But from 67 to 79 or 80, there was no hotter actor in America. Paul Newman in The Sting was the better actor. Robert Redford was the perfect sidekick. Not as accomplished an actor yet. He did not fully become, I think this was the first movie his acting chops kicked into gear. Before that, he was just okay. And that was the first movie I ever saw him. There he is with Jane Fonda. And they had a great relationship. He was in with Meryl Streep and Out of Africa. There's the fabulous Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. There he is with Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand, they say, goes to bed with every leading man she had. I never heard if she got involved with Redford. I probably could have looked it up. But you know what? He was divorced twice. Well, let's go from the beginning. August 18th, 1936, born in Santa Monica. September 16th, age 89, and once again, I heard he died in his sleep, and somebody said, oh, that's the way to go. No, I've said this on this show many, many, many times. If you're asleep and you have a heart attack or something, there's no hope. If you're in your chair, okay, and you got a pain, you can struggle to the phone. You can save yourself. So when you die in your sleep, that's it, okay? Sure, you go peacefully, but there's no alternative with the chest pains, or with trouble breathing, or with dizziness. You can still get on the phone and get fixed up. That's right. So that's been my deal. Now, I don't know when you die in your sleep. I've never heard anybody go, well, you went to bed and you didn't feel good. I guess you go to bed, you feel good, you go to sleep, and then you don't wake up. And that's what happened to Robert Redford. He lived at a resort in Sundance. Nice, huh? Sundance, Utah.
No pun intended. Sundance.
Oh, yeah. Perfect, wasn't it? University of Colorado, Pratt Institute, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, actor, film director, producer, years active, 1959 to 2025. He retired around 2018, 17, and then about 3 months later, he said, I regret retiring. Okay? So it was in his blood. I sort of liked him with Streisand, but those weren't my favorite movies. My favorite Redford movies are The Sting, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Natural, and he made some movies as he got older that we'll talk about too that were outstanding. Was married twice, Lola Van Wavenen from 1958 to 1985, and Sybil Zaggers. He married her in 2009. He had 4 kids from his first wife. Okay. And the movies he started out, he did like Alfred Hitchcock. He started out with TV. If you watch like Me TV, you'll see him on the Twilight Zone. You know, that's how a lot of the stars like Jack Nicholson started on the Andy Griffith Show. I mean, so that's how these guys got their bones. Now, he did Barefoot in the Park in 1963. He also did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Now, here's the amazing part. For some reason, I never saw Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid till like 1980, 85.
Oh, really?
I didn't see it when it first came out. Okay. 1967, I was like in freshman year of high school. For some reason, I never saw it. We didn't have a lot of movie channels back in that day, and it got by me. Here's what I'll tell everybody. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Paul Newman carries that movie because Robert Redford is still green as an actor. Not bad as an actor, but more charismatic and the handsome guy in the whole thing. Okay. But if you see The Sting, he's solid. And then he's solid after that. The Candidate, great movie. No doubt about it. Jeremiah Johnson, he's a mountain man. He becomes a hermit. It's
Speaking of Zach,
yeah.
Sorry.
Jeremiah Johnson's an important film. He really got me thinking about balance in life. No doubt about it. And if you saw The Revenant or whatever it is with Leo DiCaprio, that's basically the movie that they shot. They shot Jeremiah Johnson, just changed the name of it years later. Okay.
That's true.
Right? If you look at it.
Yeah.
And then you have The Great Gatsby, which Mia Farrow and him, not a fan of Leo DiCaprio made it too. You know what I mean? 3 Days of the Condor was good. All the President's Men, about Watergate.
That's a good one.
The Electric Horseman, Brubaker, The Natural. The
Natural, probably the best baseball movie of all time. Debatable, but
yeah, you know what? Bull Durham. I'm tired of hearing about Bull Durham. The Natural was a better movie than Bull Durham, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you got The Natural, you got Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams is terrific. But The Natural is like a mythical thing. And it's about a real thing that happened. Let me read something here because I do my research. You know, Joe will tell you. I show up and I say, I got my stuff. Now, let me look up something here. Baseball player that was shot in Chicago back in the 40s. Okay. This is a true story based off the baseball player who was shot in Chicago in 1940s was first baseman Eddie Waitkus. The incident, one of the earliest high-profile cases of criminal stalking, occurred on June 14th, 1949 at the Edgewater Beach Hotel, which used to be on Bryn Mawr and Sheridan Road, one of the great hotels in American history. It was huge, beautiful. They had Hollywood stars come in, do nightclub shows. He was shot there in 1940. He was shot, and there it is. How about that? Now, how many people know that it was really taken from this? He was shot in the chest with a rifle. You know, girl fan wounds Philly ball player seriously. So that's where they got the idea. That's where this thing turned into. Glenn Close was the stalker in that movie, if you guys remember. He had been shot by her way back in the day, and then that happened. So a little bit of Chicago information for you folks that a lot of people don't know about because Robert Redford too. In the movie, to me, when he hits the light tower and he's got the bat named Jimmy, the bat boy, I guess Wilford Brimley, the manager, was like only in his 50s, but he looked like he was like 75 at the time.
Oh, sure.
When he made Cocoon, he was like in his late 50s. He wasn't like he wasn't like 85 years old. You know what I mean? So Robert Redford was magic on the screen. Make no mistake about it. He was born in Santa Monica, California. Okay. He was Irish Catholic descent. There he is with Glenn Close sitting in there directly. You could see her name there. I did not see this. This is Captain America, I would imagine.
Yep.
But that's him as an older actor. He did a good job too. There he is with a friend of mine who I did a little stage acting with back in the day in the 90s. I did a piece on him on Fox, Ethan Hawke. Great guy. There he is with Streisand. Somebody once asked, I guess a director said to him, now here, the girl's rejecting you, Robert. Okay, so then they go through the acting, and the director goes, cut. Don't you know what you're supposed to do when a girl rejects you? You know what he said? No. I was never, that's what he told him. I don't know what to do because he was never rejected. That's what he's trying to tell the director. You want me to act like I'm rejected? There I am. That's me after I was rejected. Okay. So he attended Van Nuys High School. He was classmates with Dodger pitcher Don Drysdale back in the day. He was a bad student. It was a bunch of us laying around. I don't mean to clap against education, but you know, to me, it wasn't right for me, and it wasn't right.
It worked out for you, Mike.
Yeah, and it wasn't for Robert Redford, you know. And he also worked at I'm sure he had fun at a country club where he hit tennis balls with Pancho Gonzalez, the great tennis champion back in the day at the Los Angeles Tennis Club. He graduated from high school in 1954, attended a couple universities, including the University of Colorado. Now, before we go on with more of this, I got to get my sponsors in, our sponsors in, and let's go to Cumberland Chapels, where I'm sure they're making arrangements for Bob Redford right now. I called him Bob. Anthony Lupo Sr., get well. I hear you're not feeling well, my friend. I was talking to Tino Antonacci today, and I'll talk about him in a minute. But Cumberland Chapels is solid gold. If you have services, if you need a funeral, you need a cremation, these are the people for you. They treat you with dignity. They treat you with respect. Plenty of room. There's never long lines waiting. You have 5, 6 chapels. You got a vestibule. You got parking all over the place, on the sides, behind, across the street. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Norwich, Illinois. CumberlandChapels.com. Look it up for everything. Then I went by a couple places today. I went by Tony's Deli to see my guy Vito. And then I went by Pennyville Station and my friend Tino Antonacci and Tony Antonacci. And it was great. I had some fun. If you want to try, I brought home BB a full key lime pie. They have the best key lime pie I have ever tasted, folks. And I've been around.
Delicious.
Key lime. Joe loves the key lime pie.
That's right.
And it's just outstanding place. 112 Main Street. I was there today. They're eating outdoors because the new summer is August, October, folks. I'm not falling for this fall stuff anymore, and you know, stuff like that. There's me and Tino today. Saw my buddy. They're red hot right now. Pennyville Station. Check them out. And there's the happy hour. They still got it going. every day from 2 until 5. Blue Point oysters for $2.50 in the half shell. Cocktail sauce, horseradish, truffle fries, kapow, cauliflower, and then you got Tito's frozen lemonade. I mean, you can't beat it. Have fun, enjoy yourself, get a designated driver if you're going to drink, and then go home.
That's right.
1959 to 1966, his early roles. Listen to the shows he was on. Naked City, Maverick, The Untouchables, The Americans, Whispering Smith, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock, Route 6, all my shows, Route 66, Dr. Kildare, The Twilight Zone, The Virginian. So when you're turning on MeTV and you're watching these shows, there's a good chance that you're going to see him on one of them. He's made movies with a lot of different people, but Paul Newman and him were joined at the hip. He was dear friends with Natalie Wood also. And he was paired again in Barefoot in the Park. And then they were co-stars again in The Electric Horseman. Barefoot in the Park was 67 with Jane Fonda. Electric Horseman, 79 with Jane Fonda. And 38 years later, Our Souls at Night with Jane Fonda. There's the great Robert Shaw, who was also the captain in Jaws. The great Paul Newman. The great Robert Redford. Are you kidding me? Redford experienced an almost unparalleled 4-year run of box office successes. Jeremiah Johnson, 1972. Barbara Streisand, The Way We Were. The Sting. I mean, are you kidding me? The Great Gatsby. He made them all, man. All the President's Men was huge. 1980 to 1998, the directorial debut he made, Ordinary People, wins an Academy Award. Beat Outrage and Bold, not a fan of Ordinary People. It was a very depressing movie about Mary Tyler Moore, who she hadn't been in any movies, basically. She'd been doing the Mary Tyler Moore show. Now she's taken on this role of a mother, a grieving mother who's never the same after her favorite son commits suicide. And then Timothy Hutton is the other son. And then Donald Sutherland. And me and Bibi went to see that. It was depressing. When it's on, I just go right by it. I won't watch it again, you know. But it made its mark. It hit home, and it was great. Out of Africa. Great movie with Meryl Streep. Okay, there's that was a hard movie to watch, folks. Very rough, but it won awards and stuff like that. Legal Eagles, him and Deborah Winger did not get along. Deborah Winger did not get along. She didn't get along with a lot of people. She didn't get along with Richard Gere, people that she was in the movies with. One of my favorite movies of his, I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, Havana. Okay, he's a gambler in Cuba back in 1959 before Castro takes over. Tremendous movie, tremendous acting. Okay. He continued, River Runs Through It. Great movie. Now, Bibi and I often discuss this. He directed Brad Pitt. He helped make Brad Pitt. He helped make Quentin Tarantino with the Sundance Festival. There's that movie there, folks. If you get a chance and you haven't seen that movie, there he is holding the deck of cards. A gambling movie, a card-playing movie with Cuban rebels after him. It's as good as it gets. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. He was just so good. And then they needed an actor to play a very tough role. An older guy who's a billionaire who wants to bang and wants to spend the night, you know what I'm saying, with Demi Moore, right? And it's called Indecent Proposal. Okay, and I don't know, did you see that, Joe? Indecent Proposal?
Oh, geez, probably forever ago.
Or anyway, they had to get a guy that would treat it like, okay, he's not just picking up class, charisma, Robert Redford. Anybody else, it doesn't work. Okay, Woody Harrelson's in it, and of course, she does a great job. She was outstanding. But Indecent Proposal is a billionaire businessman who tests a couple's morals. The film became one of the year's biggest hits. He also co-starred with Michelle Pfeiffer in Up Close and Personal, Scarlett Johansson with The Horse Whisperer.
Oh, right.
Outstanding. I mean, just every movie he made you wanted to see. There he is. Look at him. And as he got older, he dyed the hair red still, but he kept his persona. I mean, you'd still see Robert Redford in 2000. You're going, there's Robert Redford, But just a great, great actor. Redford stepping back into producing, did a lot of other things. He starred in a movie with Jennifer Lopez, An Unfinished Life. Meanwhile, Redford returned to familiar territory with Streep 22 years later when they starred for Out of Africa with Lions for the Lambs. As he got older, the movies weren't as good, but they were still good. Okay. He also won some Golden Globes. He did some Marvel stuff. Now there he is. Captain America, right?
Yep, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. He played the villain in that movie, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Also, A Walk in the Woods. He played Dan Rather in James Vanderbilt's The Truth. I did not see that. Our Souls at Night with Jane Fonda, in 2017, after he was with her in 67. Think about that. Just unbelievable. He played bank robber. I like this movie. I don't know if anybody saw it. The Old Man and the Gun. He plays an aging bank robber named Forrest Tucker. It's a true story. And he just found the right roles for himself. And he never really did any smutty stuff. And here's the thing about, there they are. Look at that. They didn't change that much, to be honest with you.
No.
I mean, and they worked together. But the best couple, forget about Meryl Streep, forget about Jane Fonda, was Paul Newman and him. That was gold. And I wish they would have made a couple more movies together, but that was it. And final roles, he did a movie with James Gandolfini, The Last Castle, where he plays a military captain, and James Gandolfini plays the general who's the warden of the military prison. Fantastic. He was fantastic in it. But this movie made with The Old Man and the Gun, that's when I told B, okay, he was good in this. All right. But you could tell they were trying to lay on the makeup because he was a little bit older than the guy was, but it was still a good movie. It's Robert Redford. I don't know how to explain it. And I'm watching today Fox, okay, on Fox News, or no, yesterday. And if you watch it, there's a guy named Bill Hemmer that's on during the day. And he was on with this knockout, because that's what Fox has. Fox News, they have knockout female anchors. Well, this one's one of the best looking ones, but she's young. Her name's Aisha Hasni. Okay, black-haired. Maybe you could get her picture up there. Aisha. Look at Joe biting his lip. I can't wait. Hasnie. Aisha Hasni. Fox.
I got it.
Okay. Was I wrong? I wasn't wrong. Come on, don't. Just the wife in the room. Don't be afraid.
You're not wrong, Mike. I totally agree. I've got no disagreements there. Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now.
We can get a picture up because
I got it.
He said something to Bill Hemmer that I laughed my ass off about. So they showed the sting. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Aisha Hasni. Yeah. Anyway, she's sitting next to Bill Hemmer, and they show Redford with his shirt off. Now, Redford had a lot of hair on his chest, and he was built like a brick shithouse. He was built. And this is like in the 70s. And they show him, and Bill Hemmer's sitting right next to her. And she goes, and he goes, there he is, Robert Redford. And she sees him, and she goes, yeah, That's when there were some real men. And he's sitting next to her. And I know she didn't mean him. That's the one. That was the picture they showed. She goes, that's when there were real men. I'm going, oh my God, poor Bill Heber, you know. The guy made the Sundance. Yeah, Joe's in love.
With my wife.
Hey, she's on at noon tomorrow. Anyway, it's Appointment TV. The Old Man and the Gun. He's like in his 80s here. It's like early 80s. And he's a bank robber. And it's set in the 50s. So if you get a chance, folks, check that out also. He had production companies. He was married twice. Terrific career. No doubt about it. He was involved with the Sundance Channel, which premiered. I mean, this guy did everything in 1996. And here's what I liked about him. He was an actual movie star. And what do you say about an actual movie star? After he made it in the movies, he never made a commercial, never did a TV show.
That's true.
Never did anything online. You know, you see actors like George Clooney and Brad Pitt and doing commercials now. You know, Ben Affleck, all these guys. You know, Ben Affleck.
You're right. Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. Robert Redford. Try to find him doing anything. He didn't. He did movies, and that was it. That's a movie star. Cary Grant didn't do commercials. A lot of your great actors, even John Wayne, appeared on local TV after he became a star, much to John Ford's disagreement. What are you doing? You're the biggest star in Hollywood, and you're doing laughing, you know, and you're doing some of these nonsensical things. Robert Redford did none of that. He's a legend. Joe, I don't know how you felt about him. I you know what? He was a liberal. I didn't agree with all his politics, but I didn't care. I don't play that game. Unless you're
just a legend. He's in so many movies, Mike. I mean,
yeah, you don't care if he's a liberal. It didn't matter because he didn't bring it up like some people do. You knew he was liberal, but you know, he worked on campaigns, donated some money, but when he made movies, that was it. And then he went away he'd make a movie a year and then go away. And you'd never hear from him again. And that's what made him. I think the fact that Newman, I think working with Newman early helped him tremendously. And then they made The Sting, the greatest movie I've ever seen, in my opinion. I know people will say The Godfather or Gone with the Wind or this or that. To me, it's The Sting. Got everything in it that you need. So if you haven't seen The Sting, if you haven't seen The Natural, if you haven't seen Butch Cassidy, if you haven't seen the Man in the Gun, The Old Man in the Gun, if you haven't seen The Last Castle, if you haven't seen the Streisand movies, okay? If you haven't seen that stuff, check it out. I'm sure TCM will be playing a ton of
for sure.
Yeah. He had a ton of great stuff that he did. He did say in 2019 he penned an op-ed in which he referred to Trump's administration as a monarchy in disguise, which is fine. It's 2019, okay? And that's fine. He was opposed to big type of to the Keystone Pipeline, which I disagree with. Didn't matter. If he had a movie out and the buzz is good, and when wasn't the buzz good for Robert Redford? I'm serious, folks. I was there for his whole career. Yes. He died September 16th in his sleep at Sundance.
Yeah, yesterday. We got this. We did this one quick, Mike.
Yeah, we get it done, don't we, Joe? We're on
right.
clock. We're like firemen. Age 89. A lot of people sent their regrets. President Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Morgan Freeman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Baldwin, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Julianne Moore, Ed Norton, Josh Brolin, Ethan Hawke, Antonio Banderas, Marley Matlin, Coleman Domingo, don't know him, Demi Moore, Ben Stiller, Jamie Lee Curtis,
That's
Rita
a legend,
Wilson.
man.
I mean, everybody sent these. Stephen King, Bob Woodward, Pierce Morgan, Maria Shriver, Marty Scorsese, Ron Howard, and James Gunn. His legacy He was described as a sex symbol, which he was in the 70s. The BBC called his appeal all-American good looks that couldn't be ignored. Period.
That's
and
right.
he crapped bigger than Brad Pitt. I mean, people tell me Brad Pitt, and there he is he was the sex symbol for a while, but he wasn't Redford. He's not as good an actor as Redford, not as good looking a guy as Redford. That's just the way it is. Nothing against Brad Pitt. He's done all right for a good looking guy too.
He's doing just fine.
Robert Redford's the king. That's what he is. If you're talking like me, if you're Raquel, yeah, that's him. That's him at a Wild Night in Tahoe. If you're talking about Redford, like he was like for girls, he was like the Raquel Welch was for me in the 60s and 70s. You know, the guys liked him. I liked him. You wanted to be like him.
Even nuns liked him, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys liked him. You wanted to be like him, and girls loved him. Period. He became a godfather for independent film. He's the guy that started it all. They got Tribeca now, but they had Sundance first. He opened up a lot of careers, including Quentin Tarantino's. Oliver Stone did some stuff, and stuff like that. So just an outstanding career was had. And Joe, what's your favorite Redford movie that you've seen? Or
it's tough, but I think it's got to be The Natural for me, man. That's just a classic.
Right, and then Joe Don Baker, a guy that died earlier this year.
We did a show on him earlier this year.
Yeah,
right.
He played the bopper in The Natural. Played
AKA Babe Ruth, basically.
He was Babe Ruth. He looked just like him. He should have played him in the movie instead of John Goodman. He's a knockout for him. But he was outstanding, and there's no doubt about it. And the tributes will be pouring in for a while. But I want to thank Robert Redford because the fact that The Sting was such a good movie, and I asked B because I can't remember. I go, B, you'll talk during the movie. We'll talk during the movie, and I'll go, BB, now when we go to the movie, back in the day when we went to movies, I think the last movie we went to a theater to see was Casino or The Mark of Zorro with Antonio Banderas, or might have been Saving Private Ryan. One of those three. But we, once in a while you'll talk. What do you think of this one? We didn't say a word during the movie, she said. And then afterwards, because the movie was so good, we went to dinner and we talked about the movie. She remembers it. I couldn't remember it, that we talked about the movie. But she said, yeah, we talked about the whole movie. We had things to talk about because of it. So I want to thank Robert Redford for that. But Robert Redford for all the great entertainment, for being a class act. Just an incredible guy, incredible actor. It's a lot different show than we did the other day with Charlie Kirk, or that we've done with other people that have had issues, problems, controversy, what have you. Robert Redford stayed out of trouble, was cleaner than the Board of Health, and he did himself. He's a legend. That's all there is to it. Yet he didn't win he did win the Oscar for
directing.
He was only nominated one time for an acting role, and that was in The Sting as Johnny Hooker. He put his heart into that, and he didn't win for that. Never nominated again. Never, and it didn't seem to bother him.
Crazy.
That is crazy. But he acted with the tops, from Paul Newman to Meryl Streep to Jane Fonda to Robert Foxworthy. I mean, all these great actors that he acted with. So, our condolences go out to the Redford family.
Of course.
We loved them. And we want to thank Cumberland Chapel's funeral home. And we want to thank Pennyville Station, because somebody big really died yesterday. The great Robert Redford. On behalf of Joe Mandel and myself and our sponsors and all you people for tuning in, we appreciate it. Good night.
All right, good night.